Greetings, cinephiles. Are you looking for a movie analysis podcast that stands above the rest? Then look no further than Collateral Cinema, the only movie podcast that matters.
We analyze good movies, we analyze bad movies, and yes, we also analyze the in-betweens of the world of cinema.
So if you like what you hear, find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcasts.
And yes, my friends, we are 420 friendly. So when you listen to us, smoke it if you've got it. And now, here's a new episode of Collateral Gaming. The show starts right now.
Tonight, on the Halloween edition of the bonus round, we are discussing the 1999 original video game Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. So stick around, folks. The show starts right now. Welcome to Collateral Gaming Bonus Round. I'm Ashley Chancellor.
And I'm Beau Maddox.
And we are podcasting straight from somewhere in South Texas. And yes, my friends, we are a 420 friendly podcast. So whatever you have, smoke it if you've got it. And happy late Halloween, I guess. This was kind of a bonus round episode we had planned for Halloween. It's like the week after that. Whatever. We got it out. Just a little bonus treat for you guys after the fact. Right, Beau?
Absolutely. I mean, we always have to do a Halloween episode for both our main shows and then our bonus shows, you know? Like, I mean, we have Halloween 4 and Nailgun Massacre as our Collateral Cinema and Collateral Cinema Director's Cut episodes. So, yeah, we've got to at least fulfill the obligation, I guess. So,
yeah,
here we are.
And funny enough, our Halloween episode and our Halloween bonus round episode were actually planned as our regular October numbered episodes this month. We just got busy. I don't think we got the 2 Spider-Man episodes out until this month either, which we had planned for September. So unfortunately, we had to ixnay a little bit of content there. But we decided, you know, we're going to talk about Dino Crisis and Resident Evil 3. Might as well make them the Halloween episodes. So, yeah, here we are, Resident Evil 3. Now, I'll admit I have not played the entire game yet. I kind of got stuck on a Nemesis encounter with very poor resource management. I was hobbling down to 1 hit of life left, and I had no green herbs in sight. I think I grabbed every green herb from every area I'd been. I was kind of hit into a corner there. So that's the last place that I got to. But I have played enough to talk about it. And I have played other classic Resident Evil games, including the very first 2. But Beau, you have a little bit more history with this game than I do, right?
Absolutely. I actually bought this game when it came out back in the late 90s. It was kind of a big deal at the time because, you know, Dino Crisis had just come out. They were originally going to release this as a what would you call it? A spin-off game, actually. It was going to be a Resident Evil Last Escape, and they released Resident Evil 3 Nemesis instead. And honestly, I mean, I think that the original PlayStation trilogy is all the better for it because, I mean, this game is just so iconic to me, like even more so than Resident Evil 2. And I know that, you know, a lot of Resi fans will probably say, you know, Resi 2 is like the best of the original PS1 trilogy, but I disagree. I really think that Resident Evil 3 is just the crux of this trilogy. You know, I mean, it has a lot more exploration, albeit a little more linear exploration. And it has quite possibly the most iconic version of Jill, which we will talk about here in a little bit. And of course, I mean, for fuck's sake, Nemesis, the namesake of the game. I mean, I first of all, I gotta laugh at you a little bit, Ash, because you just went ahead and fought Nemesis all the time, did you?
Yes,
Didn't
because
you?
he gives you good he gives you good parts. So where it
Yes,
where it was possible to go after Nemesis, and I felt like I had a good chance, like I had just gotten the Magnum in some rounds, or I had just gotten the grenade launcher in some rounds, or let's say I managed to mix up some Magnum rounds actually. C plus C plus C. I did it.
Yeah.
I felt like my chances were pretty good against the guy, and I managed to get my hands on some good weapon parts. Unfortunately, the last time I was up against Nemesis, it didn't matter what kind of weapons I have. I've got the full fucking grenade launcher, the dude is. He keeps killing me in one hit because I was down to one hit. So, I wasn't having a good time anymore. I had to reload from an earlier save, and then I was just like, I don't feel like repeating this right now. So that's where I'm at.
Now you see, I get that he drops some pretty primo items. I totally get that. And every now and again, I mean, I would say only fight him if you just absolutely want those parts, but when it comes to just like, be sure to do so whenever it's like a scripted battle between you and him. See, that's how I always approached him. If I randomly encounter him, like in the when I'm out and about, I'm gonna dodge and I'm just gonna get the fuck out of there. I'm not gonna deal with him.
Well, that's what I'm gonna do if I don't
if-
have any good weapons. So, like, if I'm just down to like my handgun and my shotgun on me, then fuck that. I've dodged him during lots of random encounters. In fact, I'd like to dodge him during this particular encounter if it meant getting past the fucking section. But I can't even do that. He kills me and I can't dodge him. I can't do anything.
Well, here's the other thing is that the AI on Nemesis, the AI on Nemesis sometimes he'll if you try to escape him and dodge him and go into another area, he will follow you sometimes. And another thing is like, even if you have a grenade launcher and whatnot, he will absolutely dodge those fucking grenades. He will do that. So, I mean, if you have some firepower, I mean, you're not absolutely guaranteed to take him out. I mean, that's why my best advice for anybody who plays through this game, only fight Nemesis in the scripted battles with him. If there's like a cutscene before your fight with him, I would say go ahead and do so. If you decide to if you're presented with a choice to fight him, unless you really want those like the handgun parts or the three pack of first aid sprays. Mm-hmm. It's just not really worth it to really take him on toe to toe when you're just out there, just trying to do your thing and just trying to get to the next area and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you just gotta kind of pick and choose your battles with him.
Right, which I did. I picked and chose my battles using the strategy of whether or not I had good weapons on me. But I found it to be very formidable. Mr. X was he's a bullet sponge, but if you hit him with enough bullets, he'll go down. He's not really that difficult. But and he also comes in, for random encounters. But no, Nemesis is sometimes equipped with a grenade launcher, depending on whenever you encounter him. Even when he's not,
I would say it's.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's more of a rocket launcher than a grenade launcher.
Yes, rocket launcher. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
But and even when he's not, I mean, dude will just come charging at you. Actually, the first time that I was presented with a choice, which was I think is kind of a cool system in this game that they added, the whole choice thing. I actually ran into the police station. Which I found out apparently there's some items on Barry's body, or not Barry, Brad?
It's Brad's, yeah.
Brad. Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get a stars card off of him. Of course, you can get a stars card in the fucking in the RPD anyway, so I don't really see what the point is there. But yeah, no, I the first time I encountered Nemesis, I was like, nah, fuck nah. But then I encountered him later, and I had actually just gotten the Magnum, and I took him down. Our first like encounter with him in the RPD, I took that motherfucker down. And you know what's funny? It's right next to a save. It's right next to a save room. So you know what I did? I unloaded my Magnum into him, and then I was like, oh, okay, I got to go to the save room. Healed myself up, came back at him, finished him off with a shotgun. Apparently, the damage carried over. When you're just one room apart from him, the damage doesn't reset. So
that's the thing about Nemesis is that you really have to be very strategic in how you take him on or when you take him on. You know, I mean, like I said, it's just got to be really worth it to you to get those gun parts or whatever to upgrade your weapons.
Hey man, I got a sweet eagle off of him though. I mean, shit. That shit's pretty
true.
sweet. And it uses the enhanced ammo that I was able to craft now. Randomly, I was like, oh, hey, now it's giving me the chance to craft enhanced ammo, you know, just because I crafted enough handgun ammo enough times. I thought that was kind of cool.
Now, you see, I'm a very basic bitch when it comes to, what weapons I use in this game and what ammunition I actually craft and whatnot. Like my basic setup is just for general exploration, just a shotgun, you know, and I'm pretty sure that I modded my shotgun and everything. And I just went with a handgun. I just used the gunpowder, the A and the B gunpowder to just make lots of handgun rounds and lots of shotgun rounds and everything.
Yeah, but you make enough.
If I had
enough of just handgun and shotgun rounds, and the game starts giving you enhanced rounds. And I think it gives you more of it too.
Yeah.
So I'm the same way as you. I mean, if I'm just exploring around, I'm just going to keep my shotty and my handgun on me. Ammo for each and a couple things I need.
But I'm also going to keep my Magnum and my some Magnum rounds just in case, like, let's say I encounter Nemesis, I try to run away from him, but, you know, he's not leaving me alone, and then I have to just stand there and fight, you know, and I have no choice. At least I have the means to take him on, you know.
I mean, that's rough, like I said, to have to keep the Magnum and the rounds on you, though, in your inventory. Because, I mean, I'm also trying to keep a healing item on me. I might need another 1 or 2 items on me just for
I'm experienced enough with this game that, I mean, I can keep my... I can traverse through the game quickly enough to where I can get to the save room, get to a box, and then just, grab what I need, you know, put away what I need. You know, maybe if I picked up some powder, you know, go ahead and take out the reloading tool and craft some ammo real quick. And then just save the game. Of course, I emulated on PS Classic. Just to do a quick save state and then just go on and do what you're trying to do, you know?
Yeah, I definitely did that as well. In fact, I'm in Resident Evil games in general, you know, I'm a big go run to the item box and go grab what you need. Because you store all your important items in there and you don't know you need them until you know that you need them. And like you said, you can't keep everything on you. So, you know, sometimes you gotta figure out like what would be better to run back for, and you got to be kind of strategic about what you carry with you. Of course, as is per usual in these games.
Case in point, before you get to the clock tower, you have to get that one cable car going. Mm-hmm. But you find the parts that you need for it scattered around like downtown and uptown Raccoon City. So, right. I mean, your best bet is whenever you find something that you're going to need for that cable car is just immediately put it away. You need like a power cable, a fuse, and mixed oil, and you have to kind of go through some shit in order to get what you need there. You know, like you kind of have to go all over the fucking map.
All over the map. There were like 4 different places to go, and they're all blinking. You can I love how the game gives you a more open-ended approach at that part, where you you go where you need to go, but you're going to go and traverse back through areas you've been. Although, if you go back to the beginning, where you argued with that big dude, he's got a nice stash left behind. Although he is no longer with us.
Oh, he does. Yeah, it's actually worth it to go all the way back to the starting of the game here and actually take care of some of the zombies there and search his body. I mean, and you just kind of wonder, it's like, what made him actually go out of the back of that truck? You know, it's like, what do you think made him actually finally take that risk after he was so adamant about, like, no, I am not going out there to deal with those monsters. Fuck this.
Good
and he
point.
just says, like, fuck off, lady. It's like, what do you think may have prompted him to try to leave?
Well, if you read his note he left behind, he said something like, he knew that he was going to go, maybe, I don't know. I guess maybe he just kind of figured he'd just go out in a blaze of glory.
I don't know. I don't know if I would want to risk being eaten to death by zombies, you know?
You know what? He sure didn't use that gunpowder efficiently. He left quite a bit of it behind, and I mean, there weren't that many zombies in that room. Yeah, I don't know. He's kind of an idiot, actually.
Yeah, a little bit.
But I do like the crafting mechanics in this game. A little bit different than previous Resident Evil games, where you have the A and B gunpowder, which you can combine to make the C gunpowder. And then, you take whatever gunpowder you have and you mix it with the reloading tool in order to make ammo. And the A gunpowder makes handgun ammo, and the B makes shotgun, and the C makes grenade rounds. But then you can go even more advanced with it and mix C with A or C with B to get flame rounds or acid rounds. And they even added freeze rounds to this game, which was not in Resi 2. That's pretty cool. Which you can combine with, I think, C plus C. And then if you do C plus C plus C, you could make Magnum. I did, at my first opportunity, make myself some Magnum ammo, and I feel pretty proud of that.
Yeah, especially since Magnum ammo is pretty hard to come by. Like, even if you play in the easy setting, it's difficult to come by. So it's best to go ahead and just get all that gunpowder together, mix it, and then reload it into Magnum ammo. Or especially early on, because you're just not going to find a whole lot of it.
Fuck the easy mode, though. Okay, so like I was on the fence.
I played through easy mode because I've played through the hard mode before, and I beat the hard mode, and I was just like, I just want to get through this playthrough.
Well, okay, hear me out.
So,
that's literally what I'm about to say. So I was on the fence about it because part of me is like, well, yeah, no, I've played through Resident Evil 1 and 2. I can play the hard mode. I'm familiar with it. But then I'm thinking, well, I really want to play this through this quickly before we record the podcast. So let me just do the easy mode. And I actually settled on the easy mode because I wanted to play through it as quickly as possible. Then I felt insulted. At first, I thought like her having the fucking whatever rifle, automatic weapon she has.
The assault rifle. Yeah.
I thought maybe that was just kind of like for the intro of the game. Like, I didn't know that the game just gave you that in easy mode. Fine. But then once I got to the infinite save ribbons, I was like, okay, I know I can use save states, so I have infinite saves anyway. But I just felt insulted at that point. I was like, okay, and you're giving me all these fucking items in the item box? So I was like, nah. So I restarted the game in hard mode, and I was like, okay, no, this is a regular Resident Evil experience. And, when you're playing through the game for the first time, I feel like that's kind of the way to go. I don't know. The easy mode was just insulting to me. I was like, but I get it. Like, if you've played through the game multiple times and you just want to play through it quickly, I mean, you can get through the thrills quickly that way. Or
now,
if you're
I'm
just
pretty
not
sure
good at survival horror games, I suppose.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that whenever they released this on either PlayStation 2 or on the GameCube, they actually had an arranged mode, which I think was kind of as close as you're going to get to like a medium mode on these types of games, because in this original game, you only have easy or hard, and truthfully, there's only the only real difference is that easy mode gives you a little more ammo and a lot more gunpowder, to mix and everything. And they give you that assault rifle.
They give you that assault rifle at the beginning. And infinite save ribbons, which, I mean, I guess the infinite save ribbons is not that big of a deal because the modern Resident Evil remakes did away with the limited save ribbons. But still, I don't know. I felt cheated out of the Resident Evil experience. So I went back to hard mode. And it is hard. I'll give it that. I mean, I got through a fair amount of the game, but I think mismanagement of resources maybe. I wasn't considering that. I have plenty of ammo considering that the number of times I've gone against Nemesis, but I have a complete lack of healing items, and yeah, maybe that was the fault. Also, the new dodging mechanic is cool when it I can actually do it.
Yeah, it's
I
a
felt
little.
like the
It's a
timing
little on
was
the.
just.
It's a little on the janky side,
ahead.
honestly, and I very rarely ever do it right, like at least like consciously, It's
Okay,
always
so it's
like
not just me.
It's kind of subconsciously, yeah.
It's not just me. Yeah, it's like I when I do it, I don't quite do it on purpose, or when I'm trying to do it on purpose, I have to do it over and over and over again until I get it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Occasionally, I can get into the groove with the timing, but it's just so weird and it's so temperamental. It's like So okay, it's not just me that it's a little jank. Okay. That's good, because I felt like this was kind of like touted as like the new thing of this game, and I wanted to take advantage of it. Especially during the Nemesis fights. I mean, there was a good bit where I was trying to fight him during a random encounter because I wanted those parts, but like all I had was my handgun and my shotgun, and I quickly learned, okay, no, you're not equipped to handle with him. But I tangled with him for a bit, and I kept reloading, and I was kind of playing around with the mechanic, and the dodging mechanic's a little hard to pull off. I'm glad that they added it. I will say that combat feels a little bit more fluid in this game. I like that you don't have to press a button to go up steps. She can actually like walk over steps, which is funny because all the enemies do it. So you'd think,
Yeah, that was pretty much like a that was like a game-changing thing right there for everybody. It's like, oh my god, you could actually go up some of the stairs. It's like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
So the funny thing about the dodging mechanic that you were talking about, Ash, is that, I mean, like I said earlier, like whenever it comes to like normal enemies that I'm fighting, it's kind of difficult to actually get it to work properly. But every time I've actually fought the Nemesis, it seems like I can do it like 2 or 3 times in a row. I'm just like, well, what the hell, man?
I know what you mean.
Always with the Nemesis.
I know what you mean. Okay, yes, specifically with the
weird.
Nemesis fights. Maybe because he's a little bit, he's a little slower, so you can really see those animations.
And also a little larger as well than some of the other
larger and slower
enemies.
So, and I think maybe like the dodging mechanic, I think, was intended to work with Nemesis, and to make those fights easier. Or specifically, I think the whole system was tailored. I think either they said, "Hey, how can we really efficiently use this dodging mechanic and give players a chance to use it?" Or B, they were like, "Hey, we really need to give players some kind of an edge against Nemesis." Either way, much appreciated that it's there. It would be better if it worked a little bit better. It is kind of cool. Well, whenever you can pull it off a few times in a row against the big guy himself. And then like I mentioned before, Nemesis is terrifying. I mean, he's got that whole presence that Mr. X has, but even more, which is such a letdown that apparently, he wasn't done as well in the remake, which I haven't really played, considering that Mr. X got a huge upgrade. But I think a lot of that was kind of owed to the way that Nemesis played in the original. I mean, they're still like Mr. X, they're scripted and random encounters, but the fact that he can follow you through rooms, chase you through rooms, I think, really adds to that whole presence that he's stalking you constantly. And he's definitely more of a force to be reckoned with. I mean, like I said, Mr. X, you could kind of just run around him. He wasn't that big of a deal. And if you had enough ammo, you could take him down and get something worth your troubles for it. But Nemesis, he is a formidable foe. That is a random boss battle, basically, at any time. And yeah, the smart thing to do is to try to get away from him. But sometimes that's not so easy. So I like that they ramped up the difficulty in this one with that. What else is new? I mean, I definitely feel like this game is a little bit more action heavy than the previous two. Yeah.
Oh, very much so. I mean, for Christ's sakes, the game properly starts off with an explosion and Jill doing pretty much a roll out onto the alleyway and everything. And there's fire all over the place, and there's zombies behind her, zombies coming out of the building on fire. It's a total action-heavy game, and This is unfortunately the game that started that trend towards more action-oriented content in Resident Evil games. You know, that was finally broken by Resident Evil 7 so many years later. So, I mean, it's definitely a lot more action-oriented, but I mean, you still get a lot of the actual survival horror elements here. You know, like especially when you go into like more interior places like the RAPD or the clock tower or whatnot, you know. I mean,
exploring the RPD again was cool, actually. I mean, it's a much smaller version than Resident Evil 2, but it was cool to go to familiar locations and be like, hey, this is the STARS office.
Yeah, and that's kind of breaks. We can kind of get into the story of this game. It's interesting because it technically takes place before, during, and after Resident Evil 2. That's like we kind of see the beginning of the zombie outbreak of the T-virus outbreak in Raccoon City. Like, not entirely though, but if you watch the opening cinematic. You can even see the mercenary group that's sent by Umbrella, that's sent there under the guise of helping civilians, but it's really just to get combat data for Umbrella, you know, so they can see their bioweapons in action and everything.
It all began as an ordinary day in September, an ordinary day in Raccoon City. A city controlled by Umbrella. No one dared to oppose them, and that lack of strength would ultimately lead to their destruction. I suppose they had to suffer the consequences of their actions, but there would be no forgiveness. If only they had had the courage to fight. It's true that once the wheels of justice begin to turn, nothing can stop them. Nothing. It was Raccoon City's last chance, and my last chance. My last escape.
This is Chopper Delta, preparing to drop off at area E95070.
What are they?
Waiting order. All units proceed to Richmond and Victoria.
Let's do it. Let's move. Go, 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 go! Fire! Come and get it! Son of a... They're everywhere! Don't give up! Don't hold back! No! Where are they? Where did they come Take this! Die! You want some more?
But yeah, you really get to see a lot of the same places that were present in Resident Evil 2, and also a few newer places. You know, like you get to actually see more of downtown and also uptown Raccoon City. Like you kind of get a feel for, you know, what the city was like, you know, like both before and during and after the T-virus outbreak. Like you come across all the different shops. You come across a restaurant. You come across you come across, you know, the business district and everything.
And this is right before it's nuked, right?
Yeah. Oh, way before it's nuked, of course. You know, but yeah, I mean, everything that occurs in this game occurs during the the events of Resident Evil 2. So, yeah, you're
Right.
going to come across a lot of the same places that Leon and Claire were at. You know, like, for instance, the RIPD. Leon! Stupid. Fucking stupid. But, yeah, that's what I really like about the actual exploration. Like I said, it's still linear. I mean, it still has a certain, you know, like a certain destination where you need to go and everything. So, and it might not be nearly as interconnected as a lot of the areas in Resident Evil and Resident Evil 2. But, I mean, it's still really, really interesting to just kind of, you know, go down all these alleyways, go to, like, City Hall, go to, you know, like, the local newspaper and everything, and you know, just get a real feel for what Raccoon City is like.
Yeah, definitely. I actually liked getting to see the greater Raccoon City because you see a tiny bit of it at the beginning of Resident Evil 2 right in front of the RPD. But it was actually cool to kind of get to explore this place before it gets wiped off the map, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And I think it does add, you know, a sort of openness to the exploration in this game. I mean, you've got this entire city to explore, basically. And you know, it felt what's the word I'm looking for here, or how I'm looking to describe this, but it's like you go down all of these different alleyways and you're like, yeah, this is a city, it's open, there's all these different, you know, it didn't feel like there were these just specific rooms where there were specific things to find and you had to clear out each room. It was more just like, hey, this is the town when, you know, shit hits the fan, right? And
Absolutely,
also,
yeah.
you know, the increase in the number of zombies, I would say. I feel like this game has a lot more zombies than the previous two games did. So, I mean, there's hordes, and sometimes you have to learn, you know, when to avoid or use the environmental objects to your advantage. I mean, that was one of the other new features. Was that they even have a separate, if you hold down the R2 on the PS1 version, you will actually aim at the nearest environmental object, which you can shoot. So you can shoot like you know, the big red tanks and to blow enemies up. I mean, and that's something that's pretty standard for action games nowadays. But it was cool adding that sort of thing, you know, that whole gimmick to the Resident Evil series. And I mean, I'm strongly think I don't think there were any red barrels in Resident Evil 1 or 2, anyways. But even if there were, they definitely made a bigger point of that sort of thing here, where you know, like I said, there's a whole other direction, and there are certain parts of, you know, certain rooms and scenarios where, you know, like that's kind of that's how you're gonna get through unless you have a shit ton of ammo, right?
Exactly. Well, I say that we should spend the rest of the time of this episode talking about the actual characters here. Mm-hmm. Jill is quite possibly the best version of this character, the most iconic version of Jill like ever.
Well,
I mean,
actually
she's so
more
fully
character.
realized.
You know, like we didn't really see a whole lot of her, you know, or know a whole lot much about her in the very first Resident Evil game. You know, she was just a member of a team, but we know that she's the master of lock picking. That's about it. You know, but here we actually kind of get a window into her life, and like you said, I think she's even more badass. I like that whole. I like her casual outfit. You know, with the skirt and the tube top, or is that a tank top?
No, it's a tube top.
It's a tube top.
It's a
tube
straight
top,
tube
but
top.
she's got straps on. Actually, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Robert said she's got a strap-ons.
Oh my God.
Hell yeah!
Damn it, Robert.
I would love to be pegged by Jill Valentine. Are you kidding me? It's like every man's dream right there. I mean, shit. Mommy.
Hell, there's that one time where she meets Carlos, the other character in this game.
Oh yeah, you get to play as him for a bit, right?
Yeah, you get to play as Carlos, which we'll talk about here in a second.
Carlos.
There's that moment where he starts to kind of give up and Jill just straight up bitch slaps him. Like, straight up just like, are you telling me you're going to give up, you fucking asshole? Like, it's a pretty interesting moment, honestly. And Carlos is the other interesting addition to this game. Depending on what you choose, on the choices that you make, you can either have just more of a contentious relationship with Carlos, or there's even some possible romantic thing hinted at there, just very slightly. But, I mean, I actually kind of like the way that Carlos and Jill interact with each other, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you know, and it's a kind of a vibe of just like these two characters from different backgrounds, different organizations, just kind of meeting each other. Not unlike, you know, Claire and Leon, for example, right?
Exactly.
And,
but there's that whole
Resident. Sorry, go ahead.
But there's that whole element where you find out that Carlos is working for a mercenary group that was hired and maintained by Umbrella. And, of course, you know, Jill, having gone through everything that she went through, and, you know, even to the point where she tried to bring it up to her superiors and everything, like, I mean, she's so cynical. Yeah. Oh, you're Umbrella? Like, she's immediately very cynical about why they're there. Like, she even asked him, like, why are you really here? It's like, and he's like, honest, they told us we're here to help civilians. But of course, you learn through the unit commander Nikolai, who's Nikolai, very great Russian accent. He's Russian accent. That is what he is.
But he got blown up in the gas station in my playthrough. I think that there's a possibility that doesn't happen, but
there is a moment where if you take certain choices, you think that he's dead, but he comes back and takes the helicopter that you and Carlos were going to try to take, and you have to either choose to negotiate with him or fight him. And that's actually the path that you take if you want at the very end to have Barry be the one who rescues you. So,
Barry.
Yeah, a little spoiler alert there. Barry comes in at the end, and if you use the right path of choices and everything, Barry's the one that rescues you and Carlos, and before Raccoon City is bombed, is nuked and everything.
So does he prevent her from being a Jill sandwich?
He does. He absolutely prevents her from being the Jill sandwich. a nuked Jill sandwich. You know,
so like a Jill grilled cheese toasted sandwich,
something like that. I don't know. Yeah, and the mercenary group themselves it's interesting. They're all kind of they all have accents and everything. They don't seem to be anyone who's like explicitly American there. You know.
Yeah, it's like they're like a group of different foreign operatives kind of working together, like from different backgrounds, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it is. And if you beat the game in a certain time and get an S ranking, you can actually open up the mercenaries level, where you basically have a certain amount of time to get from the cable car to, I believe, all the way to the beginning of the game, actually. And it's actually a pretty fun little game mode to play through. I think that you can even play as Tofu in this game. Like, I think Tofu makes a comeback.
Fuck yeah.
I think. Don't quote me on that. It might not be. But yeah, the Mercenaries game in this that you unlock is once again, it really plays heavily on the more action heavy elements of this game. And you can pretty much choose to be any of the mercenaries. I think it's like Nikolai, Carlos, or the other dude. I forget his name. And yeah, it's a pretty fun little game mode. I had a lot of fun with it.
Hell yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be Resident Evil without that. That alternate mode that you unlock at the end. I know, like, that was the same thing in Resi 2. So
yeah.
Gotta continue on.
And of course you open up some the boutique. You get the boutique key, and you can actually get a bunch of different costumes and shit. Yeah, that's how you get in there. You have to beat the game, and I think regardless of what you get, is like you have to beat it in a certain level to get certain costumes, but I think there's multiple costumes that can be unlocked. And incidentally, in the GameCube version, I think they give you that key like right off the beginning, and you can just go ahead and just go there and choose like a bunch of costumes, actually. Like I think even some exclusive costumes to that port. Nice. So yeah, it's like you could get some goodies for beating this game. So in the grand Resident Evil tradition.
Makes sense. Yeah. Of course. I mean, it wouldn't be a Resident Evil game unless you could go back through it in the alternate costumes. I mean, that just makes it all the more worth it, man. And to come back and I think if you kill Nemesis a 7th time, you get infinite ammo on one of your weapons.
Yeah, that's right. So it's like, yeah, even though there is incentive to fight Nemesis, it's like if you're playing through the first time, yeah, just don't, like we said earlier, just don't engage with him if it's all random.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't planning to engage with him, and get every reward. I was just like, yeah, let me finish up the handgun that I already got the parts for, because I killed him the first time I actually fought with him after I dodged him at the first chance. So
yeah.
I was like, well, I got to at least get the parts B to this parts A. You know what I'm saying? So, at that point, you're kind of locked in. It's like, what's the point of wasting all this, like, Magnum ammo if I wasn't, if I'm not going to complete the parts? And I got that sweet Eagle gun, which was pretty cool.
That Deagle.
Is it a Desert Eagle?
Man. Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's supposed to be a Desert Eagle.
A Desert Eagle, okay.
Yeah,
I remember fucking with that gun in a few games. I don't know a lot about guns, obviously. But yeah, no. Speaking of the guns, I guess that's one more thing we can bring up before we sort of wrap things up here, Beau. But anything noteworthy here? What's new in this game that's worth talking about?
Well, first of all, that assault rifle that you get is actually fully automatic, and I mean that's not really a civilian model. I mean, you can't really get that. It would make sense that she would possibly have some access to a weapon like that because she's law enforcement.
Is her first gun a Beretta?
I believe that her gun is still a Beretta, not unlike what she had in Resident 1.
That's what I was thinking. Like a customized Beretta, probably.
This time around, she has a shotgun that's. It seems more like a Mossberg 500 without the stock and with the shorter barrel and everything in this game. Like in the original, like he had more of a standard like wood grain, wood stock shotgun. And I mean, you also get another 357 Magnum. You get which is based off of a Colt Python, I believe. And the grenade launcher, I mean, it's just a standard grenade launcher, nothing really different there. But I mean, that's really the most notable weapons in the entire game. Of course, near the end, you also get to use a railgun, but it's not like in the remake where you are holding it. It's like stationary, and the railgun takes care of the last remnants of Nemesis in the end. So, but. Yeah, I mean, also there is that sweet Deagle. I mean, if you can get it from Nemesis, it's like a nice little Deagle. And I believe that there's also some parts that you can get to upgrade your shotgun and also your handgun.
Oh yeah,
like your actual 9mm. So yeah, there's some. There's some interesting guns in here, but honestly, it's pretty standard for a Resident Evil game by this point. Like, it would have been really notable if they would have given you, like, a chain gun or something like that, but...
Right,
or maybe even some more small arms fire, like maybe like a little P90 or something like that, or like a CZ Scorpion. That would have been pretty cool. But, yeah, pretty standard weaponry for a Resi game, honestly.
Nice. Alrighty, well, I guess with that, we'll go ahead and we'll get into our final thoughts here. Beau, final thoughts on Resident Evil 3 Nemesis 1999.
I honestly think that this is the penultimate old school Resident Evil game. I mean, of course, we did have one more release after this. We had Resident Evil Survivor, which we have talked about on this this particular bonus round show and everything. But yeah, this is my favorite Resident Evil out of the original trilogy. I mean, I get that Resident Evil 2, I mean, the story may be a little better there, but this right here, it's the definitive version of Raccoon City before it's completely obliterated. You have the definitive version of Jill Valentine, you know. Like, and, I mean, they ended up doing her a little dirty in later iterations, I feel. Like, maybe now that they've kind of taken the series in a different route, we can get a better version of Jill. Even a better version than we got in the remake, from what I understand. But, yeah, this is, to me, is like the best version of old school tank control Resident Evil here. I mean, after this, we would get Resident Evil Code Veronica, when that would be pretty much the last real version of this style of Resident Evil survival horror. You know, albeit,
right, and
you know,
even
without
that had some differences with the non-pre-rendered environments. You know,
exactly, yeah, that's what I was going to say right there. You had the non-pre-rendered environments and a better, like you had a more free roaming camera and everything. You know, it wasn't completely fixed. I mean, you know, the puzzles in this game, I mean, I think that they're kind of okay. You know, I hate that goddamn random water. The water treatment code that you have to put in the hunter room. I hate that goddamn fucking puzzle. But I mean, some of the puzzles were more technical. Some of them felt more like old school Resident Evil. But all in all, I mean, you have an iconic villain with the Nemesis, and then you also have that eclectic cast of characters with the mercenaries and everything. I mean, to me, it's just the best version of the original Resident Evil formula, and that's why, honestly, I have a lot of love for this game. And it's been a lot of fun, you know, replaying it and just kind of going back through Raccoon City and whatnot. So, yeah,
hell yeah, bro.
Pretty good game. Pretty good.
Yeah, so obviously I haven't finished the game, but as compared to the previous two games, which I have finished, I'm liking a lot of the improvements this time around, you know, to combat. I enjoy the more, you know, the bigger focus or emphasis on action more than I thought that I would, actually. Because, you know, and I'm more into the puzzle type gameplay in Resident Evil games, and I gotta say, I'm not disappointed with the puzzles either. I felt like they've been actually pretty well done. So just because the game does have a bigger focus on action than in past games does not mean that there's any shortage of puzzles, because there's not. I mean, hell, even in that one part where you have to, you know, collect all of the pieces to get the rail car moving. You know, there's a whole lot of just back and forth, and that to me is classic Resident Evil. You know, just that sort of almost Metroidvania-esque style gameplay, which we enjoyed with our Dino Crisis episode as well. Just kind of, you know, remembering, okay, this is what I need to have on me. This is what I need to do. You know, I remember there's this one part where like you go and during that aforementioned section, and you find the statue. With the book in it, and then you got to go run back to the book and get the book to grab the medal, and then you got to run back to the statue with the medal. So, you know, that classic, you know, just back and forth with that, you know. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. I definitely like to complete this, play the remake and compare it with that as well. I'd like to finish Code Veronica as well. Hey, yeah, this is a solid game, and then you know, again, like you said, this is kind of like the last classic Resident Evil, unless you count Code Veronica. So yeah, and I, from what I've heard, the remake does not improve on this. So I mean, I recommend just go back and play the original, or maybe play the first two if you kind of want to wean your way into the tank controls and whatnot, but. Yeah, it's a solid fucking game. It's a good game to play this post-spooky season. It's a good game to get high. And definitely a top brass of the survival horror genre.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, we are happy that we got through our spooky season content. We're going to be coming at you with Spider-Man 2 very soon. Actually, we were going to record today, but we ended up not. But I should be recording later this week, and we'll have that out as of the time of recording this next week, I think. Yeah, we're going to do a spoiler-free review of Spider-Man 2 for part 1, and then full spoilers for part 2. It's gonna be a lot of fun, guys. I'm really excited for it. And then in December is our Zelda month. We're doing Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. We'll also be covering The Grinch as our holiday episode. And hopefully this month we'll get both the holiday episodes and the numbered episodes out this time. But yeah, stick around for that, as well as a year-end review episode. I think sometime, either on New Year's Eve or New Year's. And what's going on with Collateral Cinema, Beau?
Well, like you said, we just got through all of our spooky season content as well. Check out our mainline Collateral Cinema episodes. We premiered with a review of Freddy vs. Jason, and then we followed that up with a review of Trick or Treat. And on our bonus content, we did a Halloween special on Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, and on the director's cut, which is surprisingly getting quite a few downloads right now, is our review of Nail Gun Massacre by Terry Lofton. So check that out. And coming up very soon, we're going to do Pink Flamingos from John Waters. I'm really looking forward to that. And we will also have our Thanksgiving episode, which will be Rocky 3. And on the director's cut, I believe we will try to do a commentary, probably. I think our friend Sean Bateman wanted us to do one of the Guyver movies, so we might do that. And as for maybe a possible At the Movies episode, possibly Eli Roth's Thanksgiving or something, maybe FNAF, I don't know. Maybe we'll do something like that. So yeah, stick around. And in December, that's our bad movie month. We're doing, of course, his Breenius himself, Neil Breen's Twisted Pair, and we will be talking about The Wicker Man, I believe, with Vern from Cinema Recall. So yeah, definitely check that out.
Hell yeah, bro. It's going to be a great rest of the year here on Collateral Media Podcasts. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season as well. So you can find us wherever you get your podcasts, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. You can also check out our Patreon, where we have exclusive Let's Play video game commentaries. We'll get on that at some point soon enough. And also on the Collateral Cinema side, film commentaries.
Absolutely. Yeah, full-length film commentaries, which we need to start releasing more of if people really want to start following us on Patreon and giving us money. But yeah, we're going to get on that here pretty soon. Also, check us out on YouTube, and also check us out on Good Pods. We are actually in the top 50. We are actually in the top 50 all-time indie TV film review podcasts. So we're number 45. So go on Good Pods, give us a 5-star review, or even just be honest or whatever, and help us climb the ranks there. It's like it'd be cool to even get into the top 30 or maybe in the top 20. That'd be pretty cool. So yeah, just follow us there, listen to us there, and yeah, give us a good solid review.
Hell yeah. Alrighty. Well, with that being said, this has been Collateral Gaming Bonus Round, Halloween Edition. Stay safe, y'all. I've been Ashley Chancellor.
And I have been Beau the Nemesis. Stars.
We'll see y'all later.
Laters.
Collateral Gaming is a Collateral Media Podcast. All music and game clips are owned by their respective creators and are used for educational purposes only. Please don't sue us. We're poor.